Hey guys, so why should someone start a bookkeeping business? Now, online, you're gonna see a lot of these like online businesses that people are promoting, right? Whether it's gonna be something like e-commerce, something like being a virtual assistant, eBay drop shipping, just the list goes on and on and on. I've seen people like talk about like publishing these like ebooks on like Amazon. And you know, a lot of this stuff, it's not that this stuff is inherently bad or that like the people that are pushing these services are really bad or like they're lying to you or anything like that. It's just that there's a lot of business models that are not a good fit for the average individual. Now, in a lot of cases, they're going to be telling you stuff like, you know, you can do it from home. It's going to be like low effort. It's going to be, you know, just the easiest thing since sliced bread. And that's just simply not the case. And the reason why is because a lot of these little online side hustle things are not really businesses. They're more like these hacks in the market that you have to employ the right tactics at the right time before everyone else catches on. And the problem with it is that if you're seeing it online, most people are going to catch on sooner rather than later. So one thing that's going to really help you is learning a skill set that will limit the amount of competition that will actually be able to go on, so that the opportunity is going to stay longer, because most people that you see that like are your would-be competitors don't really want to learn a skill set to differentiate themselves. They just want to find the easiest, simple money, like they call it online money glitches, in order to go and like, you know, succeed and become rich. That's not what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna actually go and get wealthy the real way. Now, the difference between rich and wealth is that rich is something that happens very, very quickly, right? And it's like the quicker it comes, the quicker it goes in a lot of cases. But wealth is built over time, and it's very indestructible if you do it correctly. Okay, so let's kind of attack this thing. So why should someone start a bookkeeping business? Also, if you ever want some help doing any of this stuff, like maybe you've been trying to grow a business, or maybe you've been thinking about some sort of online business, but you need some guidance to like help you kind of get to where you're trying to go, I can actually help you with some of the business models we're going to talk about today inside of our mentorship program. So for me, I started my bookkeeping business back in 2015. Now it didn't take very long for me to start getting started, right? I got to like $2,000 a month. It took me about like 4 or 5-ish months to get to like $2,000 a month. But for me to get to like $10,000 a month, that only took me about 8-ish months to do so. For me to get to 15 months, that took me about 14 months to do. So a little bit over a year to get to about $15,000 a month. Now, if you don't really necessarily want to get to that high, maybe you just want to get to like, you know, 8, 9, $10,000 a month, these tips can still be applicable for you. So number one, the reason why this business model is a good business model to start is because there's a lot of ease in terms of hitting 6 figures. Now, there's a lot of business models online where they'll be like kind of talking about side hustles, but you know, they're really only going to make like $1,000 a month, right? So like, let's say you're like publishing the stuff on like Amazon Kindle. You're probably only going to make let's say a few dollars, because think about it, every single time that someone will download your book or watch your book, you're probably only selling your book for anywhere between like $5 to $10, right? So if you were to go and get 100 sales per month, let's say of an ebook that you made, that's $1,000, and like that's not bad, right? It's like it's passive income, which there's not going to be a lot of passive stuff about it, you know. And it's like $1,000 a month, and it's not that there's anything wrong with $1,000 a month. I could not quit my job on $1,000 a month, right? So in order for me to do that, you would have to go and find 10 different books that you create that each have enough selling ability to go and sell 10 copies a piece each every single month in order to get to $10,000 a month. Now that's way easier said than done, because the competition level is super high. Think about how many books are in your average Barnes & Nobles, okay? Now imagine if you had 100 Barnes & Nobles that each sold different books in the same category, and then multiply it again by 10. That's what the competition level is like on Amazon Kindle. So the chance of you actually getting 10 books in a row that can each sell 100 copies a piece is astronomical. Most people are only going to sell 1 copy of their book per month, if that. So you might only make $1,000 in an entire like year, right? So that's number one, right? Versus if you think about like bookkeeping, you can get clients that are paying you anywhere between $500 to $5,000 per month per client. Now, the difference between $500 per month client or $5,000 per month client is very vast, and like we can show you how to price your service if you ever had a chance. But on the low end, let's say you get a client for $500 per month, that is $6,000 per year, right? So automatically you're making a lot more. Now, most clients in our experience will stay with you for an average about 7 years. What we've kind of just seen our experience, just the industry statistics that we've seen, that we've just come to know. Now, the reason why that's cool is because it's not going to really take you that long to go and get to 6 figures. Really, if you can, the maximum it would take for you to get to 6 figures is about 20 clients at $500 per month, and that would get you to about 10K per month or 120 per year, right? And again, it doesn't have to get that long. That's less than a client a month. You just get like less than a client a month, or maybe let's say that you get like a client every other week. That means within about 6 months, you're gonna be able to go and get to there. 6 to 8 months, you're gonna be able to go get to like 10K per month. And the cool thing again is they stay with you for about 7.5 years. So you don't have to worry about like getting some clients, losing clients, getting clients, losing clients, which can be really annoying for a lot of people. Now, the next thing that's cool about it is that you don't necessarily need to do like kind of icky sales tactics in order to get it, right? There's a lot of business online where like they're like, start an online marketing agency, and they're like, go cold call people. Like literally they say like, pick up the phone, go through like your local like business chamber network, or go through like the phone book. Like they used to say the phone book in a lot of these courses, and they'd be like, just call business, you know, you'll get them eventually. And it's like, that is no fun. I had a student in our mentorship program, and like she was saying that like, you know, for one of like, she was doing like some real estate, she was like a real estate agent, like that was like her side hustle, and like they literally made her like do a bunch of cold calling, and she kept getting cussed out. Like she said she got cussed out 3 times. That really kind of hurt her self-esteem and made her really hesitant to like, you know, reach out again. I personally don't like doing cold calls. It's just, for me, I never really necessarily it never really bothered me if I got cussed out. It was just so ineffective that it was just like, it was just stupid to me. I was like, why am I doing something that's so ineffective? That, yeah, I mean, yeah, you probably get like one out of 3,000 people will say yes, right? And it's just like, it's just not effective. There's better ways to do it, and like ways where people like it more. Now with accounting and bookkeeping, almost every business owner on the planet understands they need accounting and understands they need bookkeeping. Now you might be saying, well, I'm only doing bookkeeping, I don't do accounting. There's a continuum between the two, and like we have another video on this channel that kind of breaks down the different levels of bookkeeping and accounting, so you can kind of get understanding there. But you don't have to do cold calls. So it's a much easier way to kind of grow, and like a much more just personal way to grow, where you're actually building friendships with people who want to work with you, want to give you money. Next thing is like, there's not really a capital outlay. So one thing that's, you know, they have like Amazon FBA, right? Where it's like, you know, you buy some products from like Alibaba, AliExpress, or wherever you find your online distributor, right? Or your online either manufacturer or your online wholesaler. Now, the problem with that is like, number one, if you're not buying it from the manufacturer, then there's already a markup on your stuff. So if you're buying it from a wholesaler, there's already like anywhere between like a 5 to 10% markup on that. So you just lost 5 to 10% profit before you even purchase the item. Okay, next you have to actually go and like, they have like generally minimum order quantities. So let's say that your minimum order quantity is about 100 items. If the item that you're selling costs you about $50, right, for you to actually like let's say to actually to bring it in, and then for you to sell it, number one, 50 times 100, that's about $5,000 you have to outlay anytime that you want to go and have a new drop of that product. That means that you have to have a spare $5,000 in the bank, you know, just for products that may never sell. Now, I don't know about you, but I have had products that do not sell. I don't have any boxes in here. I usually will have like a box of one of the products that I used to try and sell in here. I still have like the box in my basement from about 12 years ago of this like, you know, $5,000 order that I placed that never saw the light of day, right? Now, the interesting thing though is that in a lot of cases, if you're gonna buy something like that, right, and let's say that let's say your product costs you $10, right? Let's say it costs you 10. Your minimum, generally the lower the price point of the item, the higher the minimum order quantity they make you do. So let's keep it simple. 10, and you get 100 of these items. Let's keep it simple math. That's $1,000 outlay. Okay, you now have 100 different items that you have to sell. But what they don't tell you is that on Amazon, you actually have to pay for advertising in order to sell your listings in a lot of cases, right? Because there's so much competition that if you send your thing out first and foremost and you put it on like Amazon, it doesn't start at the top of the list, it starts at the bottom. And you have to basically get reviews, you have to sell items in order to climb to the top, right? So in order to do that, most people are gonna spend on advertising. So let's say that you know, you're selling your product for, we'll say you're gonna sell your product for $15, right? Okay, well remember, it costs us $10 to even purchase the item and then go ship it over to the Amazon warehouse, right? There's also a fee associated with like shipping to Amazon warehouse. Let's say it costs us $1, okay? So now to $15, we're only gonna be making $4 profit. But now you have to pay for Amazon ads. Now in a lot of cases, Amazon ads, we're just gonna keep it simple. Let's say it's gonna cost us like, we'll say it's gonna cost us $3 to advertise to get one sale, okay? So that means that for every $15 in sales that we get, we're only making $1 profit, okay? So that means out of the 100 items we bought and the $1,000 we spent, we're only going to get, what is that? I lost track of my math. $1 times 100. We're only gonna make $100 from $1,000 spent. And that $1,000 spent could take us anywhere between a month to like 4 months to sell. Some people never even sell off their items, right? So it's like that's a lot of capital risk and a lot of time in order to do that, because you're never just gonna like buy one order. You're always gonna try and buy 2, 3, 4, 5. So you just have to like send out the cash, hope it's profitable, and then just like wait for it to all sell out, right? So it's just a very inefficient business model as far as like your cash, right? Now that's going to be really, really challenging for a lot of people too, especially if you don't have a huge amount of money kind of like throw around. Now, in a lot of cases with these business models, they do attract people that don't have like a huge amount of money, right? Which is not that a bad thing or that you have to have $1 million in the bank in order to start a business, but you do want to make sure you at least have some sort of like stable income coming in, so that, you know, if you do have to kind of do a business model like this, you're not going to be like on Skid Row if you like spend like, you know, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $7,000. You know what I mean? Now, the second reason why this stuff is really cool is also because of the profitability. Now, when I say profitability, remember in our last example, right? We said if you're selling an item for like $15, you got it for $10, costs $1 to ship to Amazon, they cost $3 in advertising, right? We talk about that. That means that you're getting what, 10% profit margin. Now, for a lot of businesses, they operate on anywhere between a 5 to 30% profit margin. So that means for every $100 that they make, they only make anywhere between like $5 to $30. Or if you want to put in like in math that most people can kind of resonate with, for every $100,000, let's say they make in a year, they might only make $5,000 to maybe $30,000. Now, if you can get to $30,000 a year, depending on what your bill structure is, you might start to be able to kind of go full time, depending, right? I know a lot of people watch this video, you might be making 6 figures a year, and like 31,000 a year would not be enough for you to actually go full time. But that's kind of the point, right? That's exactly the point I'm trying to make, is that it's going to be harder for you to actually go full time with a lot of these different online like secret hack business models, right? Instead, for like accounting and bookkeeping, oftentimes the profit margins are about 95%. Because think about it, you can get clients for free in a lot of cases, or it might cost you like $100 if you get like a special version of LinkedIn, or if you go and like join like an online like networking group or something like that. It could cost you $100, $200, right? Okay. But if you go and get 20 clients, they're each paying you $500 a month, right? That's $10K per month. So your $200 outlay or whatever, and like, you know, maybe some like minor marketing expenses is nothing compared to $100,000 per year. So it's just incredibly profitable, right? So let's say that you make $100K now. If you make $100K now, let's say that your expenses are $5,000 for the year. That means you made $95,000 before taxes, right? Depending how you can work the tax code and like what deductions you take during the year, you might not have to spend that much in terms of actually taxes, right? So this 95, you might be able to actually pocket anywhere between about, we'll say probably about, yeah, you can probably pocket about 80 to 85K off of that, right? So that's pretty simple, pretty easy right there. So it's just easier to kind of make a meaningful amount of money. Most people can live off of 85 grand per year, most people. Now, if you're living in California, you're like, Bryce, well, I make 100,000 a year and things are tight. I hear you, right? But for the majority of the United States, you can get away with 85,000. You can at least like cover a lot of your bills and like live a relatively comfortable life, right? To put that in perspective, I'm a pretty bougie person. My life really only costs about 7 grand a month, right? When I say like bougie, I mean like I go out to dinners like $200 for 2 plates. That's not even counting if you have like kids and stuff. You know what I mean? So like if you're going to like, you know, a restaurant, it's like maybe 200 for 4. It's about equivalent, right? So. And I assume that if you're watching this video, you're probably not doing that every single weekend. You know, and according to my trainer, like I have a personal trainer, I'm like losing weight right now, so I don't technically go out to eat as much. You know, between me and you, I love going out to eat, but you know, just one of those things. Yeah, but the profit margin is incredibly important. Now, again, like, I don't think people understand just how important it is to have high profit margin, because like most people, when it comes to business, like the traditional way is like, you try and grow your business as large as you possibly can, and then you potentially will make a lot of money on the volume. So if you get to like $1 million per year, then like, if you're at a 10% profit margin, you're making 100,000, right? Now, there are some merits to that way of thinking, but for the average individual, it's not good, right? Those are called performance businesses, where they're trying to scale to the moon so they can maybe either like sell it one day, or so that they can like really kind of like hit a lot of like egotistical goals, like, oh my gosh, I have a $10 million a year business, I'm better than everyone else, or I'm doing this in my business, I'm better than everyone else. And it's not to say that there's anything wrong with that, right? If that's you and like you're just like trying to prove yourself in the world, and you're trying to like up and coming, like maybe you're like you just graduated from college and you're like, I want to like go as far as I possibly can and reach my potential, that's great. But for a lot of people watching this, if you just want to really just like replace your job and be able to like make a comfortable six figures, let's say that you want to make like 150, 200K per year in your business, and like that's the net profit you want to make, this business model is actually like one of the best models to do that, right? Because again, it doesn't take that much time. And then also the cool thing about it is, since it's so profitable, and since all of your clients you're a contractor, right? So when the difference between an employee and a contractor is really, outside of like the different payroll taxes, it's who controls your time. If you're an employee, your job controls your time. If you're a contractor, you control your time. So what that means is that if there's a week where maybe you just don't want to work, your clients cannot say, hey, I need you to do this for this many hours, for this many hours, for this many hours. Like, no, hey, I'm on vacation. When I get back, I'm gonna get it completed. Like literally, I don't have to ask anyone for vacation. A lot of my clients don't even know I'm on vacation until like I'm like, yeah, I'm in Florida, or yeah, I'm in Mexico. It's like, oh, you're in Mexico, cool, yeah. It's just a conversation. It's not even like, oh, why are you out there or anything. It's just, no, just cool people. Just like, yeah, man, that's awesome. It's great. I wish I could travel. It's like, yeah, I wish you could travel too, but I just chose a business model that allows me to have time freedom and location freedom, right? So I can go where I want to go when I want to do it, but I can also go wherever I want, not have to worry about like the Wi-Fi going out, or like there's some business models where it's like I think I can't remember if it was like financial advisor, like bankers, where it's like even if they can work remotely, they cannot work remotely outside the United States or outside of their specific state. It's really interesting like how people are like held down by the jobs they have, right? So the next thing that's actually kind of cool too is that in addition to it being profitable, another reason why it's easy to scale is because you don't need that many prospects to go get to six figures. So when I say a prospect, that's like a potential client. Like that's like leads, we call it in our industry. Now, when I say a lead, right? So let's say you meet a person at the grocery store, right? And they have a business and they're thinking about like getting a bookkeeper. That's a lead. For this business model, you only really need about 500 leads or followers in order to get to $8,000 to $10,000 a month. Now, that might sound like a lot, 500, but think about it like this, right? You can send out 30 connection requests per day on LinkedIn, right? And then let's say that maybe 30% of those actually sign up or like confirm with you that they want to be friends. Okay, it means every single day you're getting 10 new people. That means after 50 days, a little bit over a month and a half, you're gonna have your 500 connections, right? Which was the number we talked about to get to 8 to 10K. Then from there, all you need to do is just have conversations with them, learn how to get them to like you, communicate what you can do for them, and then they're gonna sign up with you. Now that might take you anywhere between like a month to like 4 months to do, but 4 months to get to $10,000 a month on a business, that's very unheard of. If you tell us to any business owner that is over 60, probably 65 years old, that own a business for more than 20 years, you told them you can get to six figures in 4 months, they'd probably curse you out, choke you out, and be like, well, where was this when I was younger? Like, when I tell you that, like, dude, I don't think you can fully grasp this until like maybe you've talked to a banker. So I was talking to my banker last week. He's like, yeah, man, I have a bookkeeping business and it basically does this. And it's like, yeah, man, I don't really talk to people. I have like a person in India that does a lot of the work for me. Person in the Philippines does a lot of work for me. I have a person in America that actually talks to the clients, so I don't have to talk to them. Like, wait. So you're able to make, multiple six figures a month. Sorry, per year, not per month. I'm not quite at 100K, 200K a month for both my businesses. I'm not quite there yet, but per year. And he's like, yeah, the amount of time that I actually work and spend working is ridiculous. He said, there's a lot of guys that come into his thing where it's like they're running like a restaurant, their profit margins are razor thin, they're doing maybe 400K a year in their business, but they're probably making like maybe 100,000 max, like $80,000 per location, right? Now, what that does allow for, it allows for us to be able to have a better quality of life without necessarily having to be stressed out of our business over time. Now, in terms of scalability, now this business model does have kind of like a cap in a lot of cases, right? The most larger single owner firms will get up to about $400,000 per year is kind of what I've seen. After that, the people have like make the decision of do they want to go bigger and like become like $1 million, $2 million, $3 million per year firm. But if it's just like, if you're anything like me, I just wanted to get the firm to about 150 grand per year. Then you kind of keep it there. And then you have other passions. Like one of my other passions is like teaching and mentoring. That's why I have this YouTube channel. That's why we do our mentorship program. Because there's a lot of different mathematics kind of principles behind that too. And it's like, if you get one business to where it's like it's covering your bills times 3, that's your bookkeeping business. Then you start another business, like maybe it's a side hustle where that business model can also get you to 5 or 25, 30 grand per month. Then that's also going to carry you a lot further. And like that's where you get the true financial freedom. Okay. So the cool thing about this is the third thing is the scalability and sellability. So when I say scalability, like we're not going to be like, getting this bookkeeping business to like $20 million per year or $10 million per year. You can, but it's very unlikely the average person is going to do that with this type of business model. It's built to be cash flow positive. It's not necessarily built to like be an ultra scalable thing. Now there are some accounting firms and bookkeeping firms that will get there, like, right? If you think about some like the different, like the big 4, right? Deloitte, KPMG, et cetera, but those ones generally have multiple services and they end up being more like consulting services rather than just bookkeeping and just like monthly accounting. And there's different things we can kind of talk about in that stage, but that's a video for way further down the line once you're already making, $20K per month in your business. Now, another thing that's cool is like you can actually go and you can grow your business by buying other small firms. So anytime that you want to maybe go and add, let's say like 5 to 10K per month to your business, you just go find someone else that wants to sell their clients, then have them basically buy their clients and use the money you're getting from their clients to pay off the business. So let's say that Susie has 10 clients. Susie's 10 clients are paying her, we'll say $1 a month, right? Susie says, I want to sell you the business for about $100. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, cool, Susie. So give me your clients. I'm going to have the 10 clients. I'm basically going to pay you $10 a month until the business is done. So I'm taking all the money that her clients would have paid me. I'm giving it back to Susie. Giving it back to Susie for 10 months. Once that 10 months is over, I now get all the money myself. I walk away free and clear, right? But the cool thing was none of the $10 or $100 that I paid her ever came from my pocket. It all came from her. She basically was paying herself to not work, essentially. And it's very cool because, you don't really necessarily need a lot of capital to do that. And you can do that over and over and over again. There are 340,000 bookkeeping firms inside the United States. So that's a lot of targets to buy from. And the cool thing about that too is like if let's say you buy a business like this and like, oh, I don't want to do the work myself, the labor pool for people that know how to do accounting and bookkeeping is incredibly large. So just within the United States alone, there are 8.4 million accountants and bookkeepers in corporate America. Now the cool thing for you is that you don't have a lot of competition, right? If you remember, I said 340,000 bookkeeping businesses, but there are 8 million people that have the accounting skill. That's because most people don't actually start a business if they have the accounting skill set. Most accountants love their job. They're very risk averse. So if you're coming from a different industry or if you're trying this new, you're actually in the minority of all the people. So that's where the opportunity kind of lies, because it's a cool thing because not only is there a skill set cap, but there's also a personality cap because the people that have the skill set generally do not start a business. However, if you already start the business and you're offering them a contract job, a lot of them want to feel like they have their own business without necessarily like taking the risk. So they're wanting to work with you and you can really negotiate the price point that you're going to be like giving them on their contract. Also, the labor pool is worldwide. You can have people that know how to do bookkeeping in Brazil, in India, in the Philippines, in the Bangladesh, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if you want help learning who to hire, when to hire, and how to hire, we do cover that inside of our program. But the main point of that is just that you can actually just get clients in America and then service them all throughout the world, right? So 24 hours a day, your business could be doing the accounting work and none of it has to be your time. It's crazy. And the cool thing about that too is if you do go international with your team, you can actually take care of a lot of like those labor ties. And some people are like, well, will my clients care if like the work's being done in India? No, you write in your contract, and if you don't have we give people contracts as well. You write in your contract that you can get the work done any way that you see fit. In a lot of cases, you tell them up front, like, I have a team. It doesn't really matter where the team is. It's just, can the team actually do the work? a lot of these big firms, a lot of these like, you know, multi-billion-dollar accounting firms are now outsourcing the work to like India or different places like that, because they're understanding that the talent over there is just as good as over here. It's just the exchange rate makes it much more favorable to us. So like, you know, their living expenses are a lot lower than us. Like it's a fraction of our living expenses. So it makes it very easy for us to even increase our profit margins, because the work itself is not really costing us that much money, and the amount of money we're charging versus how much we're like paying is astronomically different. So we're able to keep making this spread over and over again. And that's why I think anyone should start like really a bookkeeping business, right? Easy to hit 6 figures, very profitable business model compared to other people. Also has a lot of scalability, and there's a lot of different like people you can buy from if you want to go and like grow your clientele much faster, okay? So if you want to learn a little bit more, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. We have a lot of different videos on accounting and bookkeeping, just so you can kind of get an understanding of the model. Also, if you want some help growing your own business, like maybe you want to start a bookkeeping business, maybe you want to start an accounting business, but you just don't really know what are the steps to get started and you want some help, go ahead and click the link inside the description, either above or below the video, to book a call like with me to see if I can help you inside of our mentorship program, okay? I will talk to you soon. Have a good rest of your day. Yeah, man. Hopefully you have a good day. Hopefully you have a good time. And, you know, no matter what business model you choose, I hope you're successful in your endeavors. Have a good one.